To the Point with Michael Williams.
What changes can we expect for the West Palm Beach downtown and the neighborhoods when a new mayor takes office in a month? Hello, everyone. Michael Williams is on assignment. I'm Tory Dunnan, and welcome as we talk to the candidates running for mayor in the March election in West Palm Beach, which is one of the biggest cities, of course, in our area. Now, joining me today is Keith James, a lawyer who's been a city commissioner since 2011. First off, thank you for coming in what's especially a busy time right now for you as we're leading up to this.
Well, thank you for having me.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what your vision is for the city of West Palm.
Well, I have, as you mentioned, I've been on the commission since 2011. I'm the most experienced commissioner on there. I have been a resident of Palm Beach County for over 30 years. And actually my start in, I guess, not really politics, but public service was when Lois Frankel tapped me several years ago to be the chair of her ethics task force. A few years after that, Lois tapped me again and said I should run for city commission. And if you know Congresswoman Frankel, you know it's very hard to tell her no. So we ran for office in 2011, and we've been on the commission since then. I've been a past president of the Palm Beach County League of Cities, and I'm a Harvard-educated lawyer by training.
What is leading you to want to be the next mayor of West Palm?
Frankly, I think it's a very key time in the city's future. I've had the pleasure of serving under Jerry Moyo, who I'm proud and humbled has endorsed me. And I think now is the time that we continue and maintain that momentum and begin implementing and executing on many of the plans that have been established over the past 8 years.
Everyone seems to have their opinion on what the biggest issue West Palm is facing right now. In your opinion, what is that? Can you pinpoint one specific thing, or do you think it's a number of issues?
Clearly there are a number of challenges that are before us, but if I had to pinpoint one, it would be public safety. Every neighborhood in our city, every resident in our city desires to live in a safe, secure neighborhood. So public safety is certainly job number one. Our police, though, our police department has been doing a yeoman's job and working on the public safety front. The city itself has invested in a significant amount of technology, whether it's real-time crime center, license plate readers, shot spotter, and there's still work to be done. I'm a big proponent of community policing. While the crime rates are down, we still have some pockets of violent crime in our city, which we will have to continue to address.
And there's been a lot of talk about homelessness in the city of West Palm and linking that to crime. What is your take on that, and how big of an issue do you think it is, especially downtown where there have been a number of incidents?
Very fair question. Homelessness continues to be a challenge, not only for West Palm Beach, not only for Palm Beach County, but for the nation as a whole. During my campaign, I've issued a detailed 6-point plan of what my proposal will be for homelessness. That certainly includes continuing to work with the public, the nonprofit groups that are doing that work in the city, having a collaborative relationship with those. Homes first, clearly the key, the solution to homelessness is having a sufficient number of homes. But I think what makes me unique from my opponents, at least in the debates that we've had, is I've also added an enforcement component to my plan. I think it's important for our businesses and our residents to feel like that they can be safe and secure in our areas as well. So I'm looking to invest a portion of our general fund budget to hire a private security force to help us to, shall we say, provide aggressive attention to the homeless in certain key areas. So you're combining compassion with enforcement, a carrot and a stick, if you will.
What areas would you have the enforcement target?
Well, I'm thinking of our City Hall Plaza, certainly Clematis Street along the waterfront, and there are certainly some key parks, including Curry Park. Again, the object is not to arrest them, but it is to encourage them perhaps to find other places. But we will also have ambassadors, peer-to-peer ambassadors that we're working with, the Lord's Place on, where they will also be going around visiting these areas to find out what kind of services they could provide to those. Listen, homelessness is a very complex problem. Combination of mental health issues, substance abuse issues, and sometimes people just fall on their bad times. So we will try to be sensitive to all of those as we direct resources their way.
One of the biggest gripes of the West Palm Beach area, to put it like that, I guess, is the Okeechobee area and the traffic buildup going in and out of downtown West Palm and really across Okeechobee Boulevard. What would you do to address that?
Well, we have, and I'm proud, during my 8 years on the commission, during that time, we've adopted a mobility plan, and we will certainly continue to implement many of the strategies in that plan, including providing a more robust trolley system, which will help us with mass transit. We'll continue to have a collaborative relationships with the county and Palm Tran as they continue to provide transit options. The challenge is moving people and not just cars. So we want to make sure that we connect our neighborhoods to our downtown by having trolleys, even from the north, the south, and even out west, and that we continue to look for other ways to get people around the city. We have a bike plan that we have also adopted where we can start installing bike lanes at various routes throughout the city. So we have to continue to think outside the box. Even as we approve new developments, we have been working with developers on incorporating many aspects of our mobility plan. So we are trying to look to the future.
I have a follow-up question, or two questions to that. The first is, how do you make people in this area turn to public transportation more? And the second is, where's the money coming from to fund some of those trolleys and transit options?
Well, that's a very good question. To the latter, we have already provided room in our budget to continue going forth. We also, as we negotiate with developers, are looking for them to help us invest in some of these strategies as well. And listen, encouraging people to use whether our trolleys or other mass transit options is making sure that those services are efficient, comfortable, and more importantly, on time. And our trolleys have gotten a tremendous amount of ridership since we implemented them, I think about 8 years ago. We started using our trolleys just in the downtown area. And as I said, now we're looking to move them to our neighborhoods so that we can continue to connect our neighborhoods to the downtown.
Okay, and a question that I have to ask is, the stories have already come out so far about your DUI conviction,
Yes.
unpaid taxes, not paying bills on time. Some people have said this is not the future for the city of West Palm Beach. You've been pretty open in responding to that.
Absolutely. As to the financial situations, I've been very transparent. This is an issue that's come up every time when I've run for office. These all predated my even thinking about running for office, but I appreciate the question, and I understand that the citizens may have some issues there. The bottom line is I had some expenses. I tapped into my 401k retirement plan to pay some of those expenses, including college tuition for my children. And as you know, that comes with the penalty if you don't pay those back in time, and that's where we've ended up in that deep hole. As for the DWI, that was 16 years ago. It came at a very tough time in my life. I was in Dallas visiting my mother, who happened to be recovering from cancer. I went out and made some mistakes. But I would like to say in both of those situations, I am not that person. I believe that I've learned from those mistakes and I'm a better person today than I was then. And frankly, I hope to be a better person tomorrow than I am today. As to my record on fiscal issues, I think you need to look at my time on the commission, judge me by what we've done in the 8 years that I've been there. And I'm happy to say that in the 8 years I was on the commission, we had 7 years of a millage rate staying steady. And I believe that during that time, we've also adopted what we call a 10-year financial plan. So I've been on part of the commission when we've made some very aggressive and very proactive steps to preserve the sanctity of our dollars. And I'll stand by my record as a commissioner and my record on fiscal issues, public fiscal issues any day. Have I made some mistakes in the past with my personal financial matters? Absolutely. And it's not something that I'm proud of.
Okay. So the waterfront downtown, this is a hot topic right now. We have a high-rise going up, the potential for more. What do you think about changing sort of, I guess right behind you, what the skyline looks like in West Palm Beach, and what's your take on the development?
Well, as I've been campaigning and as I've been a commissioner, I've talked to stakeholders, I've talked to business people, I've talked to economic development officials, and I've talked to developers. One of the things that keeps resonating is that West Palm Beach has a serious shortage of Class A office space. And what I do not want to do is for our city to lose opportunities to other places in the area, such as Palm Beach Gardens, such as Boca Raton. So it is an essential element of our continued growth as a world-class and development as a world-class city that we have Class A office space provided. Now, You may be referring to the Okeechobee Business District Plan that the commission just passed. That specifically stated, in fact, it is a protection of our waterfront because there are mandatory setbacks for any buildings that are built in the Okeechobee Business District. There's a 35 to 40-foot setback away from our water. That did not occur. That does not occur now. So theoretically, there could be development right up to the water line. So I am committed to protecting our waterfront. I am committed to having resident-friendly development, even in other parts of our city, as we expand to the arteries, whether it's Broadway or Dixie. But when we provided the Okeechobee Business District, we also provided incentives for contributing to our mobility plan and doing other things, green building standards, that would be significant as well.
So I'll give you the opportunity now as we're giving the other candidates. What separates you from the others?
Well, my experience as a leader, my collaborative style of leadership. I have been president of the Florida Palm Beach County League of Cities, as I mentioned, and I'm proud to say that I've been endorsed by 16 years of mayoral experience between Congresswoman Lois Frankel and the current mayor, Jerry Moyle. I believe that by the hard work that we have been doing during this campaign by issuing detailed plans of what we would like to do in the North End, in the South End, even downtown on the homelessness, putting these on paper. So as we've listened to residents, we've tried to listen to their issues. And lastly, I'm a visionary. I do believe that the best days for West Palm Beach are ahead.
Okay, hopefully that's true for all of us, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. And
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure we'll see you in the coming weeks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, coming up, our roundtable is looking at the president's latest speech in Florida and much more. Stay with us.